What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. The Overwatch 2 beta has introduced a ton of brand new hero changes, ranging from tiny ability tweaks to pretty significant reworks. And while for the most part I've been really enjoying all these various changes, there has been one lingering question on my mind. At what point is it better for Blizzard to introduce a brand new hero rather than simply reworking an old one? Orisa's rework has been so substantial that for all intents and purposes, she functions as a completely different hero. So you have to wonder, was it worth it for Blizzard to give Orisa such a substantial change to her kit? Or would we have been better off with just getting a brand new Javelin-based hero? Now, interestingly enough, this is a question which the Overwatch devs themselves have seemingly been tackling, as indicated in an interview that was published around the same time of the Orisa and Doomfist reworks being first officially revealed. Some of our early discussions, we were talking about completely changing her model, getting away from the horse centaur aspect, doing a totally different design. We would be basically throwing away all this work we already put into Orisa, but we did seriously consider it. We had 3 or 4 totally different looking hero concepts, bipedal ones. She was carrying a shield, she looked very tribal, it was super cool. We stayed away from it because of the production costs, but also there's some unanswered questions with how players would respond to something like that. Do we have to leave the old Orisa in the game for them to play? Is it something we bring back in custom game modes and whatnot for them? It felt more correct to go the direction we did than to chase a totally new hero. Now, they make a really interesting point towards the end of this snippet I just read through, and I'm definitely going to be coming back to it a bit later in this video. But first, I want to talk a bit more about what it means exactly for a hero to be a new hero. Of course, we all have these ideas of new heroes. Obviously, it's the brand new character revealed that wasn't in the game before and now is. Is Echo a new hero? Well, she isn't anymore, but she was at one point, and that can honestly be said for basically everyone. Even the original core cast of characters were technically new heroes back in the day if you were part of the beta, or at least following the development of Overwatch 1 prior to it actually being playable. But does a new hero have to be a character we've never played before? Specifically, I want to focus on the point talked about here, where he said that with some of the Orisa rework ideas, they would be basically throwing away all this work they already put into her, and that they had 3 or 4 totally different looking hero concepts, such as some that were bipedal. What this means is that Orisa, in effect, would have been a new hero. She wouldn't have looked the same, she wouldn't have acted the same, either in terms of her personality, assuming she sticks with the rework personality she has in Overwatch 2, as well as her abilities not being at all the same, except for maybe Fortify if they ended up keeping that either way. So even though it would still technically be Orisa, in every aspect other than her name and who she is within the Overwatch story, would be a brand new hero. It's like, imagine if Zenyatta's omnic sentience was taken out of his monk humanoid body and put into some giant war mech. Is that still Zenyatta? He has a completely separate kit and abilities, but oh, it's the same brain, so it must still be the same hero. Or even with a human hero, take Soldier 76's brain and put it inside some sort of giant cyborg mech creature thing. Is that the same hero? Obviously not. So it seems like there was a timeline here where Orisa actually would have been a new hero, again, interestingly enough. But they ultimately shied away from that because of the tremendous production costs of making a new model for her, and instead decided to focus on the more limited production cost angle, where they essentially preserve as much of Orisa's original character as possible, and instead focus on reworking her so that she functions as a new hero, but can't really be classified as a new hero, because she, well, isn't. She's just a tremendously reworked old hero. However, on top of all this, what's more exciting? Getting a brand new hero we've never seen or heard of before, or Orisa getting reworked? Which is exciting, but does that really have the same impact? Even if Orisa had undergone the radical changes which apparently Blizzard was considering for her, with the brand new character model and just complete overhaul to her design and abilities, would that have landed as well and generated as much hype and excitement as a brand new, different hero? Honestly, I'm inclined to say no. Sure, it'd be awesome seeing Orisa reworked into this completely new being, but we already know Orisa. We're already familiar with her character, and we've already gotten used to playing her, and the fact that we'd be losing the original Orisa in the process, at least when it comes to quick playing competitive modes, that would have inevitably come with a fair bit of backlash as well, thus overall sort of undermining her being almost re-released as a new hero. And especially considering Orisa specifically, given that she has such a unique and interesting visual design, with her being this sort of quadrupedal centaur, robot, cow, horse thing. Changing that and making her into a more generic bipedal robot character would have been, I think, a pretty severe downgrade in terms of her character design. Like, sure, that would be a cool design for a character, but is it really that cool compared to what Orisa is as this horse, cow, robot thing? Personally, I would hate the idea of Blizzard just eliminating one of the most unique character designs of the entire game for the sake of, oh, we want to rework her to make her better in-game. Like, of course, gameplay is important and you want to have heroes that feel like they fit in the game's environment and aren't just these outdated relics, but at the cost of eliminating one of the most interesting and unique character designs on the roster? No thank you, I think I'd rather pass on that one. So certainly I'm glad that Blizzard decided to stick with this original design for Orisa, at least in terms of what she physically looks like, and just change up her abilities and personality to better fit who she is in Overwatch 2. But then that also brings up another sort of question. Why rework Orisa at all? Why does it have to be Orisa that's the hero with the javelin and the spear and the big Terra Lance ultimate? Couldn't they have just introduced a brand new hero who's a bipedal, tribal-esque warrior from Numbani or something like that? Couldn't they have just introduced a brand new hero who can spin a spear and do all these cool things and then have Orisa keep doing her barrier bunker comps over on the side? Surely that would be the best case, right? Because then we get the best of both worlds. We get to keep the old Orisa we know and love, or maybe hate depending on how you feel about her, and then also get a brand new hero, which means we not only get to play this cool hero with all the awesome abilities of the Orisa rework, but also all the story and background and connections of a brand new hero being introduced. Surely that would have been the most exciting direction to take it, right? Well, this is the point where I'd like to come back to the final line I read, which is that it felt more correct to go the direction we did than to chase a totally new hero. And based on everything else he was talking about before this final line, it seems like maybe that was an idea they wanted to have. Certainly they're indicating the idea of making Orisa's old version playable in the arcade or certain other modes, and having this new hero be the new Orisa, but the production costs of it were too high. And while we'll never know the fine details of, you know, the actual cost of like how much money and time it takes to generate a single new hero or anything like that, I think it's safe to say that if Blizzard hadn't decided on this route they ended up taking with reworking Orisa in every aspect except her visual design, then we may very well have not gotten an Orisa rework at all, nor any sort of spear or javelin wielding hero. At the time of me making this video, we have no idea just how many new heroes are going to be coming with Overwatch 2, but presumably there's going to be a fair number at the very least, and I'm assuming they're taking up a pretty handsome amount of development time for the Overwatch dev team, such that designing all these other planned new heroes they have in the works or ready to go and just haven't been revealed yet probably means that there wouldn't have been time for Blizzard to focus on making a brand new spear character. I really doubt they just had this sort of tribal javelin hero just somewhere on a back shelf like, oh, this is something we designed and have ready to go and we're going to release it as this cool new hero. Oh, but instead, how about we just strip out all those abilities, put them on Orisa, and just re-release her as a reworked version of Orisa, and then just scrap that original character. I really doubt that's what ended up happening. I suspect the abilities we see in this Orisa rework were probably just ideas they had in general for like, oh, what if we had a hero who had a spear? That'd be pretty cool. And then when considering how to best rework Orisa, they found that these were a good ability set to actually put on her with her reworked Overwatch 2 version. So if it wasn't Orisa being reworked to get this kit and abilities, I doubt we would have ended up seeing this kit and abilities at all, or at least anytime in the near future. But that then leaves me with one final question I'd like to bring up in this video. At what point does Blizzard stop adding new heroes and only focus on reworking old ones? Now, this question may sound a bit ludicrous, and I'm not trying to fearmonger in any manner to say, oh, there aren't going to be any more new heroes, they're just going to keep reworking Bastion forever. No, I'm not saying anything like that, but it does make me think, if they were willing to cut costs, which, let's be honest, that's essentially what it was. I'm not saying it's a bad thing they cut costs, but reworking Orisa is a form of cutting costs, then what's to say they won't cut costs in that same way later down the line? Maybe this new Bastion rework in Overwatch 2 doesn't end up working out, and they decide to undergo a similar ordeal with him as well. Completely overhaul his kit and abilities. No longer is he a transforming robot, now he's some weird helicopter thing that can fly around. Who knows? I'm just spitballing here. And they just forfeit everything that pertained to his original character back in Overwatch 1 in this first Overwatch 2 beta, in favor of introducing what is effectively a brand new hero's worth of abilities and mechanics into him as a character, because doing that is just cheaper, quicker, and easier than designing a brand new hero with those abilities. Or heck, maybe we even reach a point where there aren't any heroes that necessarily need to be reworked, but Blizzard decides to anyways because reworking Torbjorn or Widowmaker or Ashe is just an easier route to go than designing and developing a brand new hero from scratch. Maybe Ashe still works just fine as she is, but they're like, oh, what if we had this cool idea where she'd become the sort of summoner type character and she could summon the other Deadlock Rebel members instead of just Bob for exclusively her ultimate. That's honestly a cool idea. I would love to have a summoner type hero like that in Overwatch, and sure, it'd probably be cheaper for them to just rework Ashe into a summoner type character, but do we want them to do that? No, I don't think anyone would really like it if Ashe got reworked just because it's cheaper. Again, I don't think this is something Blizzard's going to end up doing. I just think it's an interesting possibility later down the line that's worth considering, especially when talking about new heroes versus reworked heroes, and how over time we might end up seeing the line between those two get blurred even further. Orisa is already doing that pretty heavily with her current Overwatch 2 rework, and I'm just curious to see if we're going to end up seeing something similar to this at any point later down the line, and if at some point the definition of a new hero versus a rework becomes very different from what we always thought of it being back in Overwatch 1. These have just been my thoughts on the topic though. I would love to hear your ideas down in the comments below. Do you think the kit and abilities in Orisa's rework should have gone to a brand new hero instead of just to Orisa via the rework? Or maybe you like the idea of Blizzard being able to cut costs via reworking heroes into more interesting and newer kits in order to save time and money, and maybe even just let us get more new fresh content more frequently. Either way, I'd love to hear from you, and thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.